Welcome to the DragonLance Saga Gaming Advanced Dungeons & Dragons episode. This is the third episode in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual series. It is Krynn Brook Green the 18th. My name is Adam. Dragonlance came out of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, so I thought it'd be fun to read the core rules aloud and discuss them with a live audience. I'd like to take a moment and thank the DL Saga YouTube members and Patreon patrons and invite you to consider becoming a member or patron. You can even grab Dragonlance Media or get $10 by signing up to StartPlaying.games using my affiliate links in the description below. Hey, yes, Temptington. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. We left off with Elasmosaurus. These long-necked reptiles are rather fish-like in appearance. They are carnivorous and highly aggressive. Gorgosaurus. These horrid creatures are probably ancestors of Tyrannosaurus rex. The Gorgosaurus is a fleet carnivorous dinosaur of very aggressive instincts. Iguanodon. These typically bipedal plant eaters typically travel in herds. They run from carnivores, but if cornered, they will employ their thumb spikes and lashing tail to defend themselves. Lambeosaurus. One of the family of crested herbivore dinosaurs, this creature is able to see, hear, and smell exceptionally well. They are thus able to detect enemies frequently and flee to safety, either outdistancing the predator or hiding in a swampy area. Other crested dinosaurs include Corythosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Prosolophus, and Saurolophus. Megalosaurus. Megalosaurus often travels on all fours, although they are able to function bipedally. They have very large jaws and teeth, using them to bring down any unsuspecting victim. Hey, Aging Viking, how you doing, man? Monoclonius. These reptiles somewhat resemble a single-horned rhinoceros. Their head and neck is protected by a bone shield, armor class 3, while their skins are very thick, almost plated. They are herbivorous, but they tend to be somewhat aggressive. They will trample smaller creatures in a charge, inflicting 2 to 16 hit points damage. Mosasaurus. These typical marine dinosaurs travel on land only very slowly, but their flippers move them with ease and grace in water. They prey on all forms of marine animals. Paleocinsus. These reptiles are veritable walking dreadnoughts, for their heavy-plated skin, sharp side spines, and spiked tail make them nearly invulnerable to attack. A predator trying to bite one is likely to inflict 3 to 12 hit points damage upon itself if it scores a hit. Of course, the Paleocinus will be lashing its thorny tail to drive off its attackers. These creatures are somewhat aggressive if intruded upon. Pentaceratops. This is another of the quadrupedal dinosaurs of the, Ornithischian order. It is a relative of Monoclonius, Styracosaurus, and Triceratops. It is an aggressive but plant-eating creature. Its shield and horns give it a head armor class 2, while its body is armor class 6. If it charges, it will trample smaller creatures for 2 to 20 hit points. Plateosaurus. These dinosaurs travel slowly in a bipedal manner, using their tails as a balance in order to watch for enemies, as well as reach the leafy crowns of ferns, palms, etc. They can move fairly fast on all fours. These plant eaters are fairly heavy, about 8 to 10 tons on the average, and panicky. Plesiosaurus. The plesiosaurus strongly resembles a snake wearing a turtle's body, sans shell. They tend to be very aggressive and attack anything. The creature's neck is about 1/3 of its total length, and it is strong and fast. In a marine battle, it can strike with its powerful 4 flippers for 2 to 12 points of damage with each. Pteranodon. Although these flying reptiles typically dive for marine prey, they will attack any creature which appears to be vulnerable. They have no teeth, but spear victims with their beaks if they're too large to swallow at a gulp. The beak of a typical pteranodon is about 4 feet long. The creature weighs only 40 or 50 pounds, but they can carry off prey 4 times their own weight. Stegosaurus, another of the Ornithischian. The Stegosaurus, or plated lizard, is a large, very stupid herbivorous dinosaur with aggressive defenses. It thrives nearly anywhere and is often found in Jurassic-like plains or jungles. Its great plates allow the creature to defend 90% of the time at armor class 2. Its spiked tail, with 4 or more bony spikes of 1 to over 2 feet in length, has its own brain. And the Stegosaurus turns its rear continually toward an enemy while tucking its head low. If anything near it seems threatening, it will react in this manner. Styracosaurus, an aggressive plant eater, Styracosaurus tends to charge at anything which appears threatening. The bony plate gives the head area an armor class of 2, and there is a 50% chance that anything attempting to bite its rear portions will be stabbed by 1 or more of the sharp frills of its head plate. Each frill inflicting 1 to 6 points of damage, 1 to 3 frills possibly striking. If it charges, it will trample smaller creatures and do 2 to 16 hit points of damage. Teratosaurus, a fierce carnivore found mainly on Triassic plains, the Teratosaurus runs nimbly after any creature which appears to be eatable. They will hunt only on dry land, plains, or forests. Triceratops, the largest of the ceratopsians, and by far the most aggressive. This beaked herbivore is a plains dweller. It has a huge front plate of bone, which project 2 great horns, 3 feet plus long, while a somewhat shorter horn juts from its nose. Its body is not armored, thus armor class 6. Any creature which infringes on the territory of these reptiles is likely to be charged and speared. Smaller creatures will simply be trampled for 2 to 24 hit points of damage. What's the hit die on this thing? 16 hit die. Woof. So just so you guys know, hit dice are, unless otherwise noted, are rolled with a d8. So it'd be 16 d8 hit points. That's a lot. Tyrannosaurus rex. There can be no question that this reptile is the most fearsome and terrible of all carnivorous dinosaurs. Despite its huge size, the monster is swift of foot. Its huge head is nearly 6 feet long, and its teeth are from 3 to 6 inches in length. It is a plains dweller, and so stupidly fierce that it will attack a small triceratops, kill it, and swallow its head in one gulp, thus killing itself in a matter of hours as the horns of the victim pierce the stomach of the victor. Of course, this monster will pursue and eat nearly anything, engulfing man-sized creatures whole on a roll of 18 or better. Yeeh. All right, we're done with the dinosaurs. Eatable. Edible! U-T-Me-Me. Thanks. Displacer Beast. A pack of these monsters always contain only fully grown beasts. The molecular vibrations of the displacer beast are such that it always appears to be 3 feet left, right, ahead, or behind from its actual position. Thus, these monsters always cause opponents to subtract 2 from attack die rolls and add 2 to their dice rolls for saving throws. These fierce creatures hate all life, but they particularly hate blink dogs. In combat, the displacer beast lashes out with its 2 tentacles, inflicting horrible wounds with the rough, horny edges of these appendages. Description: this vaguely puma-like creature is bluish-black. Its tentacles are dead black. The horny edges of its tentacles are brownish-yellow, and its eyes glow with a hellish green. Nice. Hey, Ed, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I liked seeing the displacer beast in that, too. Jinni. Jinni. Huh. The Jinn are creatures of the aerial plane. Their magical properties enable them to do any of the following once per day: create nutritious food for 2 to 12 persons, create water or wine for 2 to 12 persons, create soft goods or wooden items up to about 16 cubic feet of the former, 9 cubic feet of the latter, with permanence. Create metal items of short lifespan. The harder the metal, the shorter the time it lasts, i.e., gold has about a 24-hour existence. Jinn steel lasts only 1 hour. of up to about 1,000 gold pieces weight. Create an illusion with both visual and audio components, which will last without concentration until magically dispelled or touched. Become invisible, assume gaseous form, wind walk, or form a whirlwind. A Djinni whirlwind is cone-shaped, 1 inch across at the base, 3 inches across at the top, and up to 7 inches high, according to the desire of the Djinni. It requires 1 full turn to form the whirlwind and 1 full turn for it to dissolve. The whirlwind lasts 1 melee round and causes from 2 to 12 hit points damage to any non-aerial creature it encounters and sweeps away and kills all creatures of under 2 hit die which it encounters. Djinn subjected to attacks from creatures based on the element of air take -1 on damage caused thusly, and 2 hit dice are also at a -1 penalty. Djinn are able to carry up to 6,000 gold pieces weight, afoot or flying, without tiring. They can carry double that weight for a short time, 3 turns afoot, but if flying with that weight, the Djinni can remain aloft for only 1 turn for each 1,000 gold piece weight, less than the maximum add 1 turn to walking or flying time. Thereafter, it must rest for 6 turns. The capture and enslavement of Djinn is better left to the device of the referee. It is worth noting, however, that a good master will typically encourage a Djinni to additional effort and higher performance, while a demanding and cruel master encourages the opposite. A noble Djinni, 1% chance, is able to grant 3 wishes to his master, but he will do no other services, and upon granting the 3rd wish, is freed of servitude. Noble Djinni are... When do we say Djinni and when do we say Djinn? There doesn't seem to be any logic. They are as strong as the Ifrit, have 10 hit dice, strike for 3 to 24 points of damage, and the whirlwind causes 3 to 18 hit points of damage. Djinn can speak their own language and that of any person or beast with intelligence. They meet through a limited form of telepathy, which enables them to speak appropriately. Djinn can travel the elemental planes and the astral planes, as well as the material planes. The social structure of Djinn society is based on a rule by a caliph served by various nobles and officials. Viziers, beys, emirs, sikhs, sheriffs, and maliks. You ain't never had a friend like me. Dog. War dogs. These are simply large dogs which are trained to fight. They are loyal to their masters and ferocious in attack. They are typically protected by light studded leather armor and a spiked collar. The number appearing depends on their masters. Wild dog. Packs of wild dogs inhabit most regions, and their ranges will sometimes overlap those of wolves. If well fed, they will simply avoid contact. They can be tamed only if separated from their pack. Dolphin. Most dolphins simply roam the oceans in nomadic schools. A small number, 10% however, have formed underwater communities, and if one is located, it is 75% probable that there will be from 1 to 4 additional communities of dolphins within a 5-mile radius. Communal dolphins will have from 2 to 4 swordfish, armor class 6, move 24 inches, 1+1 hit die, 2 to 12 hit points damage per attack, or 1 to 3 narwhals, armor class 6, move 21 inches, 4+4 hit dice, 2 to 24 hit points per damage per attack, depending on their climactic region, as guards. What? Swordfish and narwhals as guards for dolphins? Okay. Dolphins will attack any creature which threatens them, although they will help humans in distress. They particularly hate sharks of all sorts and will attack unless outnumbered by 2 or more to 1. Doppelganger. These are so much fun. These bipedal creatures are of mutable form, so that they are able to shape themselves into the likeness of any humanoid creature from 4 feet to 8 feet tall, which they observe. Having become the double for a person, they attempt to do away with that victim and assume its place. If unable to do this, the doppelganger will simply attack, counting on the confusion engendered to make it indistinguishable from the creature it is mimicking. Surprise means it works. Doppelgangers are able to ESP and imitate with 90% accuracy. They are subject to neither sleep nor charm spells. Despite having only 4 hit dice, they make all saving throws as if they were 10th level fighting men. Note, a doppelganger actually forms itself into the likeness of the clothing and equipment of the imitated creature, as well as the physical features thereof. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Wonderpuss. I did not know that. Dragons. All right, here we go. Dragons come in many colors, sizes, shapes, and alignments. Two sorts of dragons, the chromatic dragon and the platinum dragon, are singular individuals, and there are no others of their type. Each dragon sort will be treated individually hereafter. General information and common characteristics will be given here. The 10 species of dragons have 3 general size categories: small, average, and huge, according to the size typical of each. This categorization is determined by die roll. An 8-sided die is rolled. 1 to 2 equals small, 3 to 7 equals average, 8 equals huge. This size determination indicates the number of hit dice a dragon has. Dragons pass through 8 stages in their lives. These growth stages are 1, very young, 1 to 5 years, 1 hit point per die. 2, young, 6 to 15 years, 2 hit point per die. 3, subadult, 16 to 25 years, 3 hit point per die. 4, young adult, 26 to 50 years, 4 hit point per die. 5, adult, 51 to 100 years, 5 hit point per die. 6, old, 101 to 200 years, 6 hit point per die. 7, very old, 201 to 400 years, 7 hit point per die. And 8, ancient, 401 plus years, 8 hit point per die. To determine the age, and thus the number of hit points per die a dragon has, simply roll an 8-sided die. The number rolled indicates the age as shown above. All dragons see equally well. I would just say, as a dungeon master, don't throw an ancient dragon just because of a die roll at your 1st through 12th level party. The chances of them overcoming an ancient dragon are slim to none. So I would always err on the side of choosing as the dungeon master which age dragon and not letting random chance be the determining factor. Because 1, you don't want super old, powerful, 20th level adventurers facing off against a very young dragon. It's not even worth their time. But equally, you don't want a very ancient old or a very old dragon facing young people. So just use your intellect. All dragons see equally well in daylight or darkness, infravision 60 feet. They have excellent sight, smell, and hearing. Because of these keen senses, all dragons are able to detect hidden or invisible creatures within 1 inch, that's either 10 yards outside or 10 feet inside, per age level. Dragons also develop the power to panic enemies as they mature. An adult age and older, they radiate a powerful aura which causes a fear reaction when a dragon flies overhead or charges as follows. 1. All creatures under 1 hit die, as well as non-carnivorous creatures of any sort, which are not trained for warfare, or basically not fearless or aggressive, will flee in panic. Such rout will be made at fastest speed possible, and it will continue for 4 to 24 turns. Remember, a turn is 10 minutes each. 2. Creatures with fewer than 3 hit dice must save versus magic or be paralyzed with fear, 50%, or panic, as above, 50%. Creatures with 3 or more hit dice will fight at a penalty of -1 on their hit die, unless they also save versus magic. 4. Creatures with 6 or more hit dice automatically disregard the aura effect. 5. The aura of adult, old, and very old dragons is not as powerful as that of ancient dragons, so saving throws applicable to their auras are at a +5, +3, and +1 respectively. Thus, a 2nd level fighter normally having to score 16, 75% or better to save against magic, the dragon's aura in this case would gain a bonus of 5 on his saving throw versus an adult dragon's aura, so any score of 11 or more would save him from panic. A considerable percentage of dragons have the ability to speak 1 or more human languages in addition to the language of their species. Similarly, a fair number of dragons which can speak are able to employ magical spells. The chances for either of these abilities occurring in any given individual dragon are shown under the specific treatment by species. The chance that any given dragon will be asleep will likewise be so given. Sleeping dragon. A sleeping dragon is only found in its lair, and it will always awaken upon hearing loud noise such as talking, shouting, forcing a door, etc. If it is within 30 feet to 120 feet, depending on baffling factors, walls, doors, etc., and the volume of sound. It will awaken if attacked. It will also awaken on a roll of 6 on a 6-sided die. If a sleeping dragon is attacked, its opponents get a bonus of +3 to strike it, but as soon as the dragon is awake, the bonus is lost. Attacking a dragon. Dragons may be attacked 2 ways: to kill or to subdue. The attack form must be announced prior to combat, or it will automatically take the killing form. Once selected, attack form cannot be changed with respect to any given dragon. Certain weapons will be more or less effective than others against the various types of dragons. This is indicated in the following chart. The number indicating the addition or subtraction for the probability of hitting, as well as the amount of damage done. So you can see the dragon's breath of cold, acid, gas, electricity, fire, and multiple types, depending on attacked by air, earth, fire, water, electricity, and the modifiers there. Dragons can attack by claw, bite, or breath weapon. The latter can be used but 3 times per day maximum. If a choice is possible, roll percentile dice. Any score above 50% indicates the dragon will breathe. The breath weapon causes damage equal to the dragon's hit points, half that amount if a saving throw is made, on each and every creature hit by the breath weapon. Cone-shaped breath weapons are 1/2 inch diameter at point of origin. So you're talking 5 feet at the point of origin. Subduing a dragon. An attack on a dragon to subdue, and thus capture, it may be opted for if such intent is announced in advance of combat. Silver, gold, chromatic, and platinum dragons cannot be subdued. Note that it is impossible for creatures with less than average intelligence to attack to subdue. Subdual is accomplished as follows. Upon announcement of intent to strike to subdue, all hit points of damage scored by attacks upon the dragon are considered non-fatal, battering or bruising damage. The total number of hit points scored each melee round is stated as a ratio. Hit points scored are ratioed over the number of hit points the dragon has, and this ratio is converted to a percentage chance. This percentage chance is the chance that the dragon will be subdued by the hit points of subduing damage it has received at the end of any given melee round. This percentage could be 0%, 1%, 35%, 99%, or whatever. Percentile dice are then rolled, and if the number they show is equal to or less than the percentage ratio, the dragon is subdued. It is also subdued when the ratio of subduing damage to hit points equals or exceeds 1:1, 100% or greater. A maximum of 1 human-sized attacker per 3 linear feet of exposed dragon, excluding tail, is possible. Thus, a dragon with a 15-foot-long body, fully exposed, would offer opportunity for a maximum of 11 humans to attack it, 5 per flank plus 1 at its head. I choose not to be the one at its head, just if choices are given. Example of subduing a dragon. 2 8th level fighters, a 7th level dwarven fighter, an elven 4th level fighter, 6th level magic user, and a halfling thief of 9th level stumble upon a huge red dragon peacefully sleeping upon a veritable mountain of treasure. After a hurried, whispered debate, the party opts to strike to subdue, as that will A, give them a dragon to use or sell, and B, save treasure from the destruction by avoiding the fireworks of a general melee, and C, the subdued dragon will have to point out and help carry out the choicest treasure items. The smaller, quiet party members circle the dragon. None stand at the beast's head. With a shout, the party strikes with a general bonus of +3 to hit. They all succeed, and the halfling thief gains quadruple damage bonus of striking from behind. They score a total of 44 hit points of subduing damage. The first melee round is over. As the dragon is ancient, it has 8 hit points per die, and it is huge. It has 11 dice for a total of 88 hit points. The referee rolls percentile dice. Any score of 1% to 50% indicates subdual. A 61% is rolled. Combat goes to round 2. As the dragon is just awakened, the party again strikes first. 4 of them hit, and another 23 hit points subduing damage is scored. The dragon chooses to breathe, dice score 99%, so he turns his head and fires right where the elf, dwarf, and halfling are attacking. Saving throws indicate that each takes 44, 88, and 44, oh my gosh, hit points, damage respectively. All 3 char and die. The round is over, and the referee ratio 67 over 88 equals 76% is the chance for subdual. But a 92 is rolled. The dragon fights on. Initiative dice are rolled. The dragon wins, decides to bite, and scores a hit, doing 23 hit points of damage to the second 8th level fighter. The two fighters strike, one hits, and the dragon takes another 10 hit points of subdual. The third round is over, and the chance for the dragon being subdued is 77.88, or 7/8, or 87.5%, treat as 88%. The referee rolls an 89, the most unlucky rolls ever. The fighter wins initiative, strikes, and scores 12 hit points, so the dragon is subdued automatically before it can attack. The garnering of loot now begins, and you only have to share the treasure with much fewer party members now. Value of a subdued dragon. Larger towns and cities will usually have a market for dragons. If a dragon is sold, it usually goes out of the game, although the referee may wish to assign it to some one of his special non-player characters whom he runs for encounters in the town or city. The selling price of a subdued dragon ranges from 100 to 800 gold pieces per hit point. Wow. This price is subject to adjustment by the referee. Offers are typically determined by rolling an 8-sided die. Subdued dragons can be ridden. Length of subdual. A dragon remains subdued for an indefinite period. What? But if the creature is not strongly held, well treated, given ample treasure, and allowed ample freedom, it will seek to kill its captor and/or escape. The older and more powerful the dragon, the less likelihood of it remaining subdued. Likewise, an intelligent spell-using dragon is not likely to remain subdued. In fact, the latter sort of dragon is likely to attempt to take over its captor and rule its holding. Evil dragons will never serve a good master for long, and good dragons are 50% more likely to kill or escape from a neutral captor as opposed to one whose alignment is the same as their own. Players may always opt to sell or give a dragon to any other player or keep the monster in their own service. Note that dragons cannot be re-subdued unless they actually regain their freedom. Wow. Encountering multiple dragons. If 2 or more dragons are encountered outside their lair, it will be a mated pair. If 2 are encountered in sub-adults, if 3 or more... Wait. It will be a mated pair if 2 are encountered, and sub-adults if 3 or more are encountered. If 2 or more dragons are encountered in their lair, it will be a mated pair with their young if applicable. Mated pairs are always 5th through 8th age categories. Any young in lair are eggs, 10%, or very young, 90%. If young dragons are attacked, both adults will automatically breathe and then melee to bite, gaining a ferocity bonus of +2 to hit and +1 to +3 in clawing biting damage. If either of the mated pair is attacked, the other dragon will rush to its defense, gaining the ferocity bonus stated above unless it is attacked simultaneously. Treasure. Very young dragons will usually have no treasure, but there is a 10% chance that they will have 1/4 the possible listed treasure. Young dragons have 25% chance for 1/4 the possible listed treasure. Subadults have a 50% chance for 1/2 the possible listed treasure. Young adults and old dragons have normal treasure. Very old and ancient dragons are 50% and 75% to have 150 and 200% respectively of the listed treasure. Weaknesses of dragons. The innate cowardice of dragonkind is shown by the fact most can be subdued. Dragons' egoistic nature makes them subject to flattery, and it also makes them more stupid of them, prone to attack other powerful creatures whom they view as disputing their dominating position. Greed and avarice are major motivational factors in all but the loftiest of dragons, 40% of silver, 80% of gold, and the platinum dragon. So they are subject to manipulation, but very clever persons or the prospect of actual treasure and the promise of more forthcoming. Dragon saving throws. When a dragon attains 5 or more hit points per die, its saving throw is calculated by dividing its total hit points by 4. Thus giving a higher number of hit dice than it actually has. This reflects the magic resistance and general toughness of this creature. Conversely, even a very young dragon gains the benefit of the actual number of its hit die, even though the hit points per die are but one each, for determining scores required. This reflects the same natures of dragonkind, i.e., magic resistance and toughness. I love that they have like a genus here as well. So, Black Dragon, Draco Causticus Spetum. All right. The black dragon is typically found in miasmal swamps or marshes, although they also inhabit subterranean lairs as well. For black dragons always seek to lair in deep, dark caves. They tend toward the midpoint between law and chaos in their evil. The black dragon attacks with a claw bite or breathes, in this case spitting acid in a 1/2 inch wide stream, which extends 6 inches in a straight line beginning at the height of the dragon's head and traveling in the direction and at an angle which the monster's head was facing at the time of discharging the acid. Black dragons, which can speak and are capable of using magic, can employ one first level spell for each stage of their maturity, i.e., 1 to 8 spells. Roll randomly to determine which spells they know. The spells known are a special form of the ordinary spells, which require only a spoken component, but each can be employed but once per day. Repeat spells are possible if random rolls so indicate. Blue Dragon, Draco Electricus. I think that's so funny. Blue dragons typically prefer deserts and arid lands. Like others of their kind, the lair is always some vast cave or underground cavern. The attack of a blue dragon is a claw bite or use of its breath weapon. A blue dragon is capable of discharging a bolt of electricity, lightning, in a straight line 1/2 inch wide by 10 inches long. This discharge is always of the stated proportion. Speaking blue dragons, which are able to use spells, do so as follows. For each stage of maturity, from 1st through 3rd, they gain a 1st level spell. From 4th through 6th stages, they gain a 2nd level spell. At the 7th and 8th brackets, they gain a 3rd level spell. Thus, an ancient blue dragon would have 3 first level, 3 second level, and 2 third level spells. Determine all such spells randomly. If the same spell is rolled twice, the dragon is able to use the spell twice per day. Brass Dragon, Draco Impudentus Gallus. Sandy desert regions are the typical habitat of brass dragons, whose carnivorous lairs are often found therein. Brass dragons are quite forward and officious, and they love to converse. They're rather selfish and tend towards neutrality because of this. The brass dragon attacks with a claw bite routine or by breathing either of its 2 weapons, a cone of sleep gas, which extends 7 inches from the creature's mouth to a terminating diameter of 2 inches, or a billowing cloud of fear gas, 4 inches wide by 5 inches across by 2 inches deep, ground upwards. Creatures in these gaseous clouds must save versus dragon breath regardless of their level, or fall asleep and flee in fear. If the dragon is small-sized, saves are at +2, and if the dragon is of huge size, saving throws are -2 from the number rolled. If a brass dragon can speak and employs spells, it will gain a 1st level spell at each odd-numbered stage of maturity it attains, and a 2nd level spell at each and even-numbered age, as it usually with dragons determines spells known by random selection. Hey, Corey, how you doing? Bronze Dragon, Draco Gerus Bronzo. Bronze dragons prefer to dwell in subterranean lairs near substantial bodies of water, such as lakes or seas. Despite their love of wealth, bronze dragons are basically of beneficent nature. They often assume the form of some animal in order to observe the affairs of human. The attack of a bronze dragon is either a claw bite or either of 2 breath weapons, a bolt of lightning 10 inches long and 1/2 inch wide, or a repulsion gas cloud 2 inches long by 3 inches wide by 3 inches high, which affects those within it just as a repulsion spell. Move away from the dragon for 6 melee rounds unless a saving throw versus dragon breath is made. Magic using bronze dragons gain a 1st level spell at their 1st and 2nd growth stages, an additional 2nd level spell at their 3rd and 4th growth stages, 3rd level spells at the 5th and 6th growth stages, and very old and ancient dragons gain additional spells of the 4th level. Thus, an ancient bronze dragon would know 2 each of 1st through 4th level spells. These spells should be selected randomly. Chromatic Dragon, Tiamat. Jesus. Pardon me. Tiamat rules the first plane of the nine hells, where she spawns all of evil dragonkind. She hates all good as fiercely as she loves cruelty and hoards wealth. She is seldom 10% outside her lair, but occasionally she comes to Earth to place a new dragon or to seek more treasure, or to dominate the world. She can travel astrally or ethereally. Although her sheer size prevents claw attacks, Tiamat can bite with all 5 of her heads and sting with her tail at the same time, breathe with one or more of these heads, or cast spells with one or more heads at the same time. Tiamat's heads are white, black, green, blue, and red. Her breath weapons correspond to the color of each head, exactly duplicating the size and shape of the appropriate dragon's breath weapon, and doing equal damage to a huge ancient dragon of the species applicable, i.e., 56 hit points frost cold damage, 64 hit points acid damage, 72 hit points gas chlorine damage, 80% hit points electrical lightning damage, and 88 hit points fire damage. She can use each breath weapon but once per day. Note that each of her heads is also capable of employing 2 spells. Tiamat's white head is able to cast 2 first-level spells, her black head 2 second-level spells, her green head 2 third-level spells, her blue head 2 fourth-level spells, and her red head 2 fifth-level spells. Each of Tiamat's heads can withstand 16 hit points of damage before going out of commission until regeneration replaces it the following day. That's not a lot. If her body takes more than 48 hit points damage, she is dispelled to her own plane of hell, or slain if fought in hell, just as any other devil. That's not a lot. When encountered in her lair, Tiamat will always have 5 consort or guard with her, 1 huge adult male dragon of the white, black, green, blue, and red types respectively. That makes it much more difficult. They're also able to speak and use spells if applicable. Description. Tiamat's heads have already been noted. These colors run the length of each neck and into the forepart of the body as stripes, gradually blending to 3 stripes of gray, blue, green, and purple over her back and hind quarters and merging into a muddy dark brown tail. Her underbelly and legs are greenish white, fading into her upper body parts. Copper Dragon, Dracocomus stabuli. Copper dragons prefer to inhabit arid rocky regions like warmer climes in which to locate their cavern or cave lairs. They tend to be rather selfish, and thus many copper dragons are somewhat neutral in their outlook if gain is concerned. The normal attack of this kind of dragon is either a claw-claw bite or the use of one of the other of its breath weapons, a discharge of acid exactly similar to that of a black dragon, 7 inches by 1/2 inch, or a cloud of gas 3 inches long by 2 inches wide by 2 inches deep, which will slow any creature therein unless they make their saving throw versus dragon breath. The slower effect causes creatures to move and attack at 1/2 normal, and it lasts for 6 melee rounds. Those copper dragons are able to use magic, gain a first-level spell for each of their first 3 age brackets, a second-level spell in addition at each bracket of the next 3 ages, and at the last 2, an additional third-level spell at each. Thus, a magic-using ancient copper dragon would know 3 first-level spells, 3 second-level spells, and 2 third-level spells. Gold Dragon, Draco Orientalis Sina Dux. I love the old gold dragons. So cool. Gold dragons are able to dwell in any clime, but their lairs are always of solid stone, whether a cave or a castle. Although they love precious metals and gems and use jewels and pearls as nourishment, all gold dragons are lawful, just, and good. They are able to assume the form of animal or the guise of humanity, for they can polymorph themselves without harm. It is in some other form that they are typically encountered. The attack of a gold dragon can be a claw-claw bite routine or one of 2 breath weapons. Fire in a 9 inch by 3 inch cone or chlorine gas in a 5 inch by 4 inch by 3 inch cloud. Also, a gold dragon is able to cast spells 1st through 6th level. At the very young age, the creature has but a single first level spell. At a young dragon, it has 2 such spells. Therein, it gains 2 spells of progressively higher level at each new age bracket through old. At very old and ancient, they gain the use of a 6th level spell. Thus, in ancient age, a gold dragon knows 2 of 1st through 6th level spells in addition to being able to polymorph self 3 times per day. As gold dragons are so intelligent, their spells are always of the better sort, and at least half of them actually have regular spellbooks. Green Dragon, Dracochlorinerus nauseus respiratorus. The race of green dragons prefer to locate their underground lairs in or near woods or forests of the bleaker, wilder sort if possible. They are very nasty-tempered and thoroughly evil. A green dragon can attack by a claw bite routine or by breathing a cloud of poisonous chlorine gas. The gas cloud is 5 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 3 inches high. Those talking green dragons able to use magic gain a first level spell for each of their first 4 ages and a second level spell for each of the successive ages until a maximum of 4 first and 4 second level spells are known. Select these spells by random determination. Platinum Dragon, Bahamut. The king of good dragons, Bahamut, the platinum dragon, Paladin, dwells in a great fortified palace behind the east wind. No one knows for certain if this palace is on the elemental plane of air or some plane betwixt it and the 7 heavens or tree paradises, save Bahamut and his court. About 1/4 of the time, he roams the earth in the guise of human or nearly any other form he chooses, for Bahamut is able to shape change freely. He can travel astrally or ethereally. In attacking, the platinum dragon can opt to fight with a pair of clawed attacks and a bite, or he can breathe at any one of the 3 forms of breath weapon: cold in a cone 8 inches long with a base diameter of 3 inches, a cloud of vapor which causes persons therein to save versus dragon breath or lose their substance and assume gaseous form for 12 full turns, or a sonic vibration which will disintegrate up to 150 hit points. He is capable of using each breath weapon twice per day. All saving throws against his breath are at a -3 due to the powerful nature of their originator. Bahamut is able to employ any spell of 1st through 7th level, 2 each of magical and 1 each of clerical spells per day, or a maximum of 21 spells. He possesses books listing all known magic spells of these levels. There are 7 huge ancient gold dragons of highest abilities and loyalty who serve as guards, companions, and advisors to Bahamut. He seldom, 10%, is without them. A sage tells of encountering Bahamut in the guise of an old hermit with 7 canaries singing sweetly as they flitted nearby. The sage relates that he would never have known that he was anything other than what he appeared to be, except that a group of ogres and trolls happened to be much to their sorrow. Red Dragon, Draco Conflagratio Horribilis. I love that picture of the red dragon. The red dragon is usually found dwelling in great hills or mountainous regions. As with most others of this species, they make their lairs in subterranean caves and similar places. They are very greedy and avaricious. Of all evil dragons, this sort is the worst, save for Tiamat herself. A red dragon is able to attack by means of a claw bite routine or by breathing a cone of fire 9 inches long by 3 inches base diameter. Speaking red dragons are 40% likely to be able to employ spells. For each age bracket the dragon has attained, it is able to use an additional spell. At the first 2 ages, the red dragon gains a 1st level spell, and at the next 2, a 2nd level spell is gained, and at the 5th and 6th ages, a 3rd level spell is gained, and at the last 2 ages, a 4th level spell is gained. Thus, an ancient red dragon would be able to employ 2 spells each of spells level 1 through 4. Silver Dragon, Draco Nobilis Argentum. Silver dragons select mountain peaks, clouds, and similar locales in which to establish their abode. It is claimed that this dragon can be found in the home of the king of good dragons, as well as behind other winds as well as behind other winds as well. Nice writing. Much as a gold dragon, these creatures are able to polymorph themselves in order to appear as an animal or human, typically a kindly old man, or a fair damsel, if the latter. When in combat, a silver dragon is able to attack with claw and fang or use either of its 2 breath weapons, a cone of frost, cold, 8 inches long with a 3-inch base, or a cloud of paralyzing gas, 5 inches long by 4 inches wide by 2 inches high, which will take immediate effect upon all within it unless they save versus dragon breath. Silver dragons who are able to use magic are able to employ a maximum of 10 spells. At each of the first 2 ages, they gain 2 first and second level spells, respectively. At each age thereafter, they gain an additional spell, 3rd level at subadult and young adult, 4th level at adult and old, and 5th level if very old and ancient. Thus, a very young silver dragon of this ability would know 2 first level spells, a young one would know 2 first and second level spells, etc. Furthermore, 25% of magic-using silver dragons have books of spells, so they may select spells for use rather than knowing only a limited number per level. White dragon, Draco rigidus frigidus. White dragons favor chilly or cold regions in which to dwell. They lair in icy caves or deep subterranean places. Although not as intelligent as most other dragons, they are as evil and greedy as any. The white dragon is able to attack with a claw bite or with its breath weapon, a cone of cold, frost, 7 inches long with a base diameter of 2.5 inches. Rare magic-using white dragons are able to employ a maximum of 4 first-level spells, gaining 1 at each even-numbered 2 second, 4th, 6th, 8th age bracket, i.e. 1 spell at young age, a 2nd at young adult stage, a 3rd at old age, and a 4th at ancient status. To determine spells usable, select randomly from the first level spell list. Duplication is possible, merely indicating that the dragon can use the same spell twice, thrice, or even 4 times. Dragon. A weird cross between a brass dragon and a giant lion, the dragon is both very rare and most solitary. The beast fights with its huge claws and great fangs, but its most dreaded weapon is its horrible roar. This sound causes weakness to all within 12 inches of the monster unless they save against paralyzation. Furthermore, any creature within 3 inches or less of the dragon will be deafened. Both effects of the dragon's roar last from 2 to 12 melee rounds. Those weak from fear from the sound lose 50% of their strength. Deafened creatures cannot hear any sound and will strike at -1 on their attack dice due to disorientation. Dragons are able to fly only short distances, 1 to 3 turns, with their small wings. They speak a language of brass dragons and sphinxes. I have never used nor encountered a dragon ever. That's wild. Dragon turtle. I love turtles. Perhaps the most feared of water creatures is the dragon turtle. They are found in very large rivers and lakes as well as in the sea. Its thick shell makes it nearly impossible to harm, while its powerful claws and jaws easily rip opponents to shreds. Worse still, they can belch forth a cloud of scalding steam, which covers an area 6 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 4 inches high. This steam causes damage equal to the number of hit points the dragon turtle has, reduced by 1/2 if the victim makes its saving throw. Dragon turtles vary in size, age, and hit points per die in the same manner as dragons. If a dragon turtle comes up under even a large ship, they are likely to capsize the vessel. Chances are 95% for a small ship to 50% for a large one. They speak their own language. Description: the shell of a dragon turtle is deep green with silver highlights. Its legs and tails are lighter green with golden highlights. Its neck is green gold with golden highlights, and its head and crest are green gold. Dryad. These beautiful and alluring tree sprites are found only in the most secluded places. They're found only near oak trees and never more than 36 inches from their individual tree, of which they are actually a part. A dryad is shy and non-violent. Unless surprised, a dryad can disappear by stepping into a tree, slipping out on a side unseen by the intruders, and dimensioning. And so this is like the beginning of... oh my gosh, why is my brain not working? Sesame Street, when they always like ran to the tree and disappeared, and then like showed up poking their head out the other side. Let's see. Dryad is shy and non-violent. Unless surprised, a dryad can disappear by stepping into a tree, slipping on the other side by the intruders, and a dimension door to her own tree. Dryad trees are distinguished only by their large size. They do not radiate any magic. If seriously threatened, or if near a male with a 16 or greater charisma, the Dryad will use her powerful Charm Person spell, which may be cast up to 3 times per day, once per melee round, with a -3 on the victim's saving throw. If a person is taken away by a Dryad, there is a 50% chance they will never return. And if they do return, it will be from 1 to 4 years later. Dryads can speak. That'll just ruin a campaign instantly. All right, so Frank, our fighter, just disappeared off with a Dryad for a few years. I guess we just go home then? Dryads can speak their own tongue, Elvish, Pixie-ish, Sprite, and also speak with plants. If carefully approached, they might be persuaded to aid a person or party. Dryads have exact knowledge of the wood or forest in which they dwell. Dwarf. Rocky hills are the favorite abode of these sturdy creatures. Dwarves typically band together in clans which are not mutually exclusive or hostile, but are competitive. These creatures are able to operate in 2 or more classes simultaneously, so fighter clerics, for example, are possible. Note also that the level of proficiency must vary between the 2 or more classes one of these creatures is capable of performing in. For every 40 dwarves in a group, there will be a fighter of 2nd through 6th level. To determine level, roll a 6-sided die, 1 equaling 2, and the other 2 numbers indicating the level. If 160 or more dwarves are in a group, there will be in addition 1 6th and 1 4th level fighter as chief and lieutenant of the group. If 200 or more are encountered, there will be a fighter cleric of 3rd to 6th level fighting ability and 4th to 7th level cleric ability in addition to the others. If 320 or more dwarves are encountered, there will be the following additional dwarves with the group: an 8th level fighter, a 7th level fighter, a 6th level fighter, 7th level cleric, and 2 4th level fighter clerics. If encountered in the lair, home, there will be an additional from 2 to 12 fighters from 2nd to 5th level, from 2 to 8 fighter clerics from 2nd to 4th level, each category, and females and young equal to 50% and 25% respectively of the number of adult males. A dwarven lair is always an underground complex in solid rock. Dwarves are typically armored with chainmail and shield. They have the following typical weaponry: sword and light crossbow 15%, sword and polearm 10%, sword and spear 20%, axe and heavy crossbow 10%, axe and hammer 25%, axe and mace 10%, hammer and pick 10%. Higher level fighters and fighter clerics have a 10% chance per level of having magic items, armor and or weapons. For fighter clerics, also check at 10% per cleric level for 1 to 4 additional items: potion, clerical scroll, ring, wand, staff, rod, miscellaneous magic, usable by clerics. All dwarves above normal level will have plate armor and shield. Dwarves are 60% likely to have tamed animals to serve as guards in their lair: 5 to 20 wolves, 25%, or 2 to 8 brown bears, 75%. I want a tamed brown bear as a pet. That's dope. Hell yeah. Have you ever seen a shaved or hairless bear? They are terrifying, like Tolkien-esque monsters of darkness. Anyway, due to their great hatred of goblins, orcs, and hobgoblins, all dwarves gain a bonus of +1 on their die rolls to hit these opponents. When dwarves are in melee with ogres, trolls, and giants, these monsters must deduct 4 from their dice rolls to hit their dwarven opponents due to their size and skill of the latter in combating these huge creatures. All dwarves are resistant to both magic and poison. They therefore make saving throws at 4 levels above their actual level. Dwarves can see in the dark infravision, noting monsters at a distance of 60 feet. Because of their mining skills, dwarves are good, 50% to 75% likely, at detecting passages which slope upwards or downwards, sliding or shifting walls or rooms, new construction, approximate depth, or unusual stonework. Dwarves speak their own language and those of gnomes, goblins, kobolds, and orcs. It is 75% likely the dwarves will also speak the common language. Description: dwarves are typically deep tan to light brown of skin with ruddy cheeks and bright eyes, almost never blue. The hair is brown, black, or gray. They favor earth tones with small bits of bright color in their clothing. Although only 4 or so feet tall, they weigh no less than 150 pounds due to their stocky, muscular build. They live for no less than 350 years on the average. Mountain dwarves. These creatures are similar to their cousins, the hill dwarves detailed above. The only differences are size, 4.5 feet plus tall, hit dice 1+1, and coloration, typically lighter with brown hair. They employ fewer crossbows, 20% maximum, and more spears, 30%. Mountain dwarves with 16 strength can work up to 7th level, with 17 strength to 8th level, and with 18th strength to 9th level. Mountain dwarves have a lifespan of 400 or more years. Not bad. All right. That actually puts us at E. However, we're also really close to the cutoff time I have here of an hour. So rather than continuing on, I think I'm just going to stop there. That is it for this episode of Gaming Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. What do you think of the monsters covered? Do you have a favorite dragon or other D monster in the collection? Feel free to email me at info@dlsaga.com or leave a comment below. I would like to take a moment and remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button. It all goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. Thank you to creator patrons Aaron Hardy and D. Robert Handy, developer patrons Chris Androu and Sam Ruiz, and all of the YouTube members. This channel is all about celebrating the wonderful world of the DragonLance Saga, and I hope you'll join me in the celebration. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with DragonLance Saga, and until next time, Slanchavar.